Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis joins us now. He's a senior fellow and military expert with Defense Priorities. So, the world should get used to having Vladimir Putin on the international scene for years into the future. What does it mean for, the kinds of relations that we've been experiencing with Moscow lately?
Well, I think what we have to do, first of all, is kind of step back a little bit and look at this from the larger perspective and kind of zoom out and realize that the United States is in the definite dominant position here. And we don't need to get into a situation where we're following the lead of Putin, so to speak. And of course, he's trying to play that up. He's a really good showman, as we've seen in some of the clips even that you've shown there. But when you look at the reality of the military power, the economic power, the United States is definitely in the driver's seat. And I think that if we have a good strategy that overall looks at how our relations with Russia are conducted on a consistent basis and not just on an episodic kind of a thing that might seem to be actually playing into Putin's hands sometimes, I think that gives us our greatest strength. Yeah,
it is true that Russia's economic power rivals maybe Italy or the state of California. It's not the global dominating foe that it was when it was part of the Soviet Union.
That is correct. And of course, Putin wants to project that he's an equal with the United States. And of course, in nuclear weapons, they are, and they deserve credit or respect for that because you have to, because of the power that it can send. But in terms of this, like the day-to-day operations and the impact that we can have on both the region and global security, the United States is unequivocally in the driver's seat because as much as Russia wants to project power, they're very limited in their ability compared to the West. And they also, even Putin is very much limited by his economics. And if he does anything that's going to upset that, then his domestic hold starts to become wobbly. So he has to be careful, and that puts us in a position of influence.
Ronald Reagan won the Cold War in part by spending so much on defense and on programs like the Star Wars missile shield that the Soviet Union simply could not keep up, and recognized that and finally fell apart. Is that in the cards for the future, do you think, with regard to Russia?
Right now, I don't think it is. And so we have to have a new strategy because that one worked back then. But right now, especially with Russia's oil wealth and the fact that the price of oil is starting to rise and their production is rising as well. So they're in actually a pretty good, as far as income goes, they're in a good position. And they definitely are. It's certain that they're increasing their military capability. And so I don't think we want to get into a situation where we want to drive that. I think rather let's use the levers of influence that we have, where we have the clear superiority, and that is with our economic and our diplomatic might, because I think that's where we can have our greatest impact on containing Russia.
Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis with Defense Priorities. Thank you, sir.